cuts through the what is the Well of Eternity in the Maelstrom, and causes instability throughout the world, essentially shatters the world. So that's our big overarching hook, right? So we have that playing across every single zone. Every zone you hit will have some type of hit here. Secondary storylines that we have playing in every zone, Bashir, Hyjal, Deep Home, you name it, are the Horde Alliance conflict. This is something that we set out to do in Northrend with Lich King, and we had some definite success there, and we carried it through. We carried it through hugely, through into Cataclysm. Garrosh being War Chief now, and Varian, of course, taking the helm as King in Stormwind. These are two boisterous characters, and they have their opinions on things, and they definitely butt heads. And believe me, they're both going somewhere. Hopefully, the fans will get to see that in a bit. But so the Horde Alliance conflict is another thing that you see all over the place. It's important to keep that up, that you don't end up in this weird position where something we used to do a lot of is the more hand-holding type events, which they're cool and they have a place, but the game had started becoming just all about joining forces and less about the actual conflict between these two diametrically opposed factions. And of course we have the minions of Deathwing, and those that are subservient to him, the Twilight's Hammer and the Naga, by proxy of Ajara, are forces that you see in I think every zone in the 8885, plus you will see them all over the place leveling up in the new Old World content. Huge things. And of course in the pre-sundering, pre-shattering events you see on PTR right now, you see all those doomsayers and all the crazy Twilight cultists and the cities being flooded and invaded. So there's quite a bit going on here.
Kind of going off of what you said about the Horde and Alliance, obviously we saw the conflict increase throughout, the Wrath of the Lich King storyline with the whole Wrathgate cinematic. So now the threat seems almost more prevalent than ever, but they're fighting more than ever. So with the new leadership kind of taking over and the increased struggle, how is the relationship between those opposing factions affected? How are they planning to actually, defeat their enemies when suddenly they're not working together anymore? The threat's worse than ever.
Yeah, they're getting their asses kicked. That's what's happening. I mean, I think
so. It's just sheer they're out of options and they're just fighting everyone at this point. Or
I think anytime that a treaty or truce is mentioned in fiction, something goes wrong. Strangely enough, someone tries to assassinate somebody, a fight breaks out, and this is I think common in politics. Is you do see this type of thing happen. I mean, probably not to this degree with magic and orcs, but
so you're implying that this game is in fact fiction.
I am implying that.
Okay.
I am
Possibly.
in fact implying that. But yeah, I mean, I think that the factions, the Alliance and the Horde, are in over their heads here, and I think it's going to take some doing to defeat Deathwing. They've only just begun, and they've got a long road ahead of them.
I can't wait to see how it plays out. So kind of speaking more personally, what zones, including the revamped zones, dungeons, quest lines, raids, what are you guys really excited about in Cataclysm personally?
It's a super tough question because so much has changed.
Thanks, I try.
I mean, honestly, the biggest thing for me is, probably the new class race combinations and starting a new character and playing through. Because we haven't really, obviously we've been working on it this whole time and seeing it and getting feedback, talking to people, played in beta as much as we can, which is, we're so busy, it's pretty hard to even do that. But it's looking forward to rolling that new character and actually playing through the experience as a normal player, earning all the rewards in the way you would taking a new profession and taking it up. It's just, there's so much system stuff that we're not even talking about here,
right?
That really goes hand in hand with the the new world and the content changes, the new talent system stuff, getting your stuff at level 10, and I think just going back into zones again and playing them, but playing them from a whole new perspective. To me, that's probably the biggest thing. That's going to last only so long, and then it'll turn into raiding and getting back into the guild and the entire guild system and that stuff. But I think right off the bat, that's the thing I'm looking the most forward to.
Yeah, totally. For me, I think huge ones. From a systems perspective, the guild system's big for me. I'm a big guild player. I love my guild. And really, really looking forward to that feature. From a zone perspective, I'm absolutely looking forward to doing Old Doom with my actual character. Love that
For
zone.
sure.
Really, really love that zone. Love all our zones, but I really love that zone. That vibe is just killer.
We went pretty crazy over Old Doom when we. I remember I did the very first layout of Old Doom, which was really early, just off of a couple meetings me and Alex had. And pitched, we both knew we wanted to do something with this Egyptian style, but didn't really know how it would play out. How would we do that? And we both looked at this first layout, which had kind of like a Nile River kind of running through it with a delta and pyramids and all this stuff, and obviously Titan influence. And I think I remember Alex saying right when we saw this, it was nowhere. It was just a really quick layout, and we're like, I think this is probably going to be the best zone. I think this is probably going to be it.
I remember that actually. Like, this is definitely our best zone. There was nothing there. It was dirt. It wasn't even a speck.
Yeah.
But
how long ago was that?
Oh wow,
year.
Yeah, easily over a year ago.
It's been a while. But for A5, I think Old Doom's definitely the one I'm looking forward to. Old World stuff. Really excited about the Forsaken storyline. I'm a big fan of Sylvanas, and I'm interested and eager to see what she's actually up to. I'd say don't trust her, to be honest with you, but you never know. I don't know. She's sneaky. She's really sneaky. But
I feel like you do know, and you're not telling us.
Maybe I know. I can't tell you.
What would make you think that?
Yeah, she might have me killed. And
okay.
She has that kind of influence,
gotcha.
Which is scary because she's a game character.
Noted.
Yeah, but and then of course there's the beloved rating and dungeons. Of course, love dungeons, love heroics, but also really looking forward to doing Bastion of Twilight. And seeing all Nefarian back, Nefarian and his siblings. Looking forward to those raid zones hugely, and our new amazing flexible raid lock system.
I was just gonna say that.
All right, so what do you hope the average player will take away from their first experience with the content in this expansion?
They'll be blown away.
Yeah,
I think the average new player, I think you coming into this one, you're going to be amazed, and I think you'll be. It's almost startling to look at it and just think that this game is, it's about 6.5 years old now at this point, and you get into that world, the art style keeps up. It still looks amazing. It still looks.
It's almost mind-boggling.
Yeah,
how it's able to do that. We see so many new MMOs. Obviously, we play stuff, we see things. And, the majority come and go, and we love a lot of the art that we see in these other titles and get jealous. Oh, why can't we have that feature? I want that. I want this. And then somehow we end up coming out with these zones that just look insane in this engine that we've been basically upgrading for this whole time. We're working off the same WoW engine.
Yep.
And I think like Alex said, for the average player that comes in, it's going to be pretty hard not to just be blown away. Yeah. I think there's so many things that are new, actually. They're probably not even going to realize a lot of things that are different until they're pretty far in. There's a lot of things that if you're just picking up with a level 80 and going to 85, that's going to be a great experience. But at a certain point, they're going to want to reroll, and so many things are going to feel different at that point,
But better.
Yeah.
Different but better.
Mm-hmm.
So likewise, what about, maybe a year down the road, how do you imagine level 85 characters who've been, keeping up with each content patch, how do you think they're going to feel about the expansion?
Oh, they're going to be the happiest people on earth. Aren't they always?
They are. They're always happy. They're still...
And their guilds might be max level 25
max level
by
guilds
then, maybe?
by then? Maybe.
Exalted
maybe.
Red.
Hard to say.
Possibly. Depends.
All right, cool. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for talking to me today.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
Coming up next is Community Manager Nethera to discuss more about latest music and sound design with Director of Audio Russell Brower and Senior Composer Derek Duke.
BlizzCast, your official Blizzard podcast.
This is Nethera from the community team. Today I'm sitting with Director of Audio, Russell Brower, and Senior Composer and Sound Designer, Derek Duke. Welcome to the BlizzCast.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
So we sat down a while ago when the Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King were still in beta to discuss the sound that went with each expansion. For Cataclysm, what sort of musical theme can we expect given the variety of changes and new zone additions such as Vashj'ir?
Our overriding consideration in conceiving the music for Cataclysm has been to imagine the context in relation to the old world, because most of the places that players will go in the new expansion have existed before as part of Azeroth. And a lot of that music is very well loved. It's ingrained in the memories players have of playing alone or with their families. And there's a resonance there. And we don't want to destroy that link. Instead, we want to carry the story forward and make sure that the sense of story is overlaid and melded with what's happened post-Cataclysm. So you'll hear familiar themes and familiar tonalities and things like that. But there's, depending on what's just happened or what you're seeing around you, there's a different, there's a darkening or a different sense of who's in charge of a given area.
Sure.
The colors have changed a bit.
Yeah, there's also, you get some more insight into like the beginnings or the sort of the outer workings of the environments. You get to go to the homeland of, you'll understand where the goblins have come from. You'll get to experience some of the elemental planes through Skywall and areas like Deepholm. So there's some new areas that you'll be exposed to sonically, but that just exposes more of the world, the universe of Warcraft.
Sure. Is there a certain instrument or hook that perhaps someone just listening casually might not notice?
The world is such a big place that if we provided too much of a constant hook or sound, you would hear it so much. It might actually get distracting that you would hear it so much. So we've tried to be very judicious in how we're using these self-references, if you will. But some patterns were established pretty early on. For instance, before we started writing music for the game itself, all of us who were on the composition team sat down and did, for the first time, what we called concept music, without really any direction other than maybe looking at some concept art or reading Christy Golden's first draft of her novel, The Shattering. Each of us sat down and wrote a few minutes of music that said to us, this is the Cataclysm. This is what it means to me.
Right.
And out of that came a lot of great ideas. And one of them, Neil Acree, who you may remember from having written the cinematic scores for both Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King, he came up with a simple little 4-5 note motif for Deathwing. And so that little melodic idea starts seeping through in various locations. You'll hear it in the new login screen music. You'll hear it, of course, in the cinematic, without giving too much away, but you figure it's going to have some Deathwing in it.
Sure.
So you'll hear that music anywhere, like if we're in Deepholm or anywhere where you really like the ground is still sizzling from where Deathwing just was. There's potential to hear something like that. Twilight's Hammer theme came out of those efforts, and many others. So there's several